Level 1. Chidori. Chidori was created by Kakashi Hatake as his first original lightning-based technique. It set the groundwork for many advanced variations later developed by both himself and Sasuke Uchiha. The concept behind Chidori is simple but difficult to master. By focusing lightning-style chakra into the user's palm, the technique generates a concentrated, high-voltage current. This energy creates a distinct, high-pitched sound, similar to the chirping of birds, hence the name Chidori, meaning 1,000 birds. For Chidori to function properly, the user must combine two key components: precise chakra control and high physical speed. The chakra needs to be molded evenly, compressed tightly, and maintained throughout the charging phase. At the same time, the user must dash toward the target at incredible velocity, maximizing the technique's penetrating force. This combination of ninjutsu control and taijutsu application makes Chidori extremely demanding to perform in battle. Chidori's strength lies in its ability to pierce almost any defense. It was designed as a single-target assassination technique, making it ideal for eliminating enemies with durable armor or defensive barriers. Mid-level shinobi who learn Chidori can potentially defeat stronger foes if the attack lands directly. However, it has a critical flaw. During the high-speed dash, the user's field of vision becomes narrow. This tunnel vision effect leaves them vulnerable to counters unless they possess the Sharingan, which can predict enemy movements. That's why Kakashi never taught it to anyone lacking that visual advantage, until Sasuke. In his youth, Kakashi used Chidori against an enemy from the Hidden Cloud Village. Though he succeeded in defeating the target, the near-fatal risk revealed the technique's instability. This experience directly led to his development of Reichery. Chidori's importance is not limited to its raw power. It represents a training milestone for mastering three essential ninja skills: chakra shape transformation, lightning nature transformation, and the integration of high-speed movement with ninjutsu. These three elements form the basis for all future Chidori derivatives. Each later form attempts to address the weaknesses of the original while expanding its tactical utility. Chidori is not only Kakashi's first custom jutsu, but also the foundation of one of the most specialized lightning arsenals in the shinobi world. Level 2. Reichery. Reichery is the evolved form of Chidori, refined by Kakashi to correct the shortcomings of the original. Often translated as lightning cutter, Reichery earned its name from Kakashi's legendary feat of slicing through a bolt of natural lightning. This technique builds upon the Chidori's mechanics, but enhances its precision, focus, and overall power. The core change in Reichery lies in the compression of chakra. Instead of letting the lightning spread naturally, Kakashi concentrates it into a denser, sharper form. This refined shape increases both cutting accuracy and penetration power. The result is a technique that functions like a blade forged from pure lightning chakra, capable of slicing through more durable defenses that Chidori may not pierce cleanly. Reichery retains many of Chidori's fundamental traits. It still demands precise chakra control and high-speed movement. The tunnel vision effect is still present, making it unsafe without the Sharingan's predictive vision. Chakra consumption remains high, limiting the number of uses in prolonged battles. However, the enhanced control allows for more stable performance and greater effectiveness against elite opponents. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Kakashi used it to cut through one of the Eight Tails chakra arms, a testament to its potency against high-level chakra constructs. It demonstrated that Reichery wasn't limited to assassination, but had applications in full-scale combat scenarios. Level 3. Cursed Mark Chidori. Cursed Mark Chidori is the result of fusing Sasuke Uchiha's lightning chakra with the corrupted energy of Orochimaru's cursed seal. This version manifests during Sasuke's period of alignment with Orochimaru, reflecting a phase of transition and internal conflict. Visually, the lightning darkens, often appearing black or violet, and the chakra becomes denser and more volatile. The curse mark amplifies Sasuke's chakra output dramatically. When combined with Chidori, this results in a version that exceeds the original in destructive capability. The added cursed energy destabilizes the chakra composition, making it more chaotic but also more difficult to resist. The technique gains a brutal, overpowering edge that can shatter high-level defenses. It's a clear upgrade in terms of raw damage, especially in one-on-one situations. The curse mark places both physical and mental strain on Sasuke. Prolonged use risks chakra overexertion and potential loss of control. The power boost is temporary, dependent on activating the seal. This limits its use in long battles and makes it risky as a regular combat option. It's a tool designed for decisive moments rather than sustained engagements. During the first major battle between Sasuke and Naruto at the Valley of the End, this form of Chidori collided directly with Naruto's Rasengan. The impact destroyed the surrounding terrain, emphasizing the sheer power behind the enhanced jutsu. The scene also marked a turning point in Sasuke's journey, revealing how far he was willing to go to gain strength, even if it meant relying on a source outside himself. Level 4. Chidori Nagashi. Chidori Nagashi marks the first significant evolution of Chidori after Sasuke's training with Orochimaru. Unlike the original, which channels lightning to a single focal point, Nagashi distributes chakra through the user's entire body. This turns the technique from a linear strike into a radial burst that extends a few meters in all directions. The shift transforms Chidori from a targeted assassination move into a tool for close-range control. To execute this variation, Sasuke emits lightning chakra from his tenketsu points across the body. The current travels outward like a pulse, affecting anything in the immediate area. The electrical output can disrupt movement, cause muscle paralysis, or repel nearby attackers. This change allows the technique to serve both defensive and offensive purposes, depending on the situation. Nagashi is effective when facing multiple enemies or when Sasuke is surrounded. Instead of relying on a single charge toward one target, he can maintain spatial control and disable opponents simultaneously. Unlike the original Chidori, which leaves the user exposed during the dash, Nagashi allows Sasuke to remain stationary or on guard while delivering the attack. Because the electrical current is dispersed over a wider area, the damage to any single opponent is lower. It's not designed to finish off a target, but to interrupt, create space, or apply pressure across a zone. During Sasuke's reunion with Team 7 in Naruto Shippuden, he demonstrated Nagashi against Naruto and Sai. The discharge stunned and paralyzed them momentarily, halting their movement and allowing Sasuke to take control of the engagement. It showed how the technique could halt aggressive advances and neutralize threats instantly. Level 5. Chidori Sword. Chidori Sword is another adaptation of lightning-style chakra by Sasuke, this time integrated directly into weapon combat. By channeling his lightning chakra into the blade of his Kusanagi sword, Sasuke creates a technique that enhances both cutting power and electrical disruption. The result is a high-precision, close-quarters weapon capable of slicing through tough defenses while inflicting internal damage through electric shock. Mechanically, the lightning flows along the edge of the blade, sharpening it and increasing its penetration capability. The current causes muscle spasms or paralysis on contact, making it more difficult for the opponent to retaliate. The blade also vibrates at a high frequency due to the chakra infusion, which improves its efficiency in cutting through resistant materials, such as summoned beasts or dense armor. This technique is most effective in one-on-one combat, especially against physically durable opponents. It allows Sasuke to apply consistent pressure in melee range without needing to rely solely on speed-based strikes. Its power increases in direct proportion to his swordsmanship, making it both a ninjutsu and a kenjutsu technique. The effectiveness of Chidori Sword depends on Sasuke's proficiency in close combat. Without refined sword technique, the jutsu loses its tactical value and can expose the user in high-speed exchanges. It also lacks area coverage, limiting its utility against multiple opponents or long-range threats. Sasuke employed Chidori Sword effectively against Orochimaru's giant snakes. The lightning-enhanced blade cut through their thick hides with ease, demonstrating its capacity to deal with large and durable summons. The electric effect added another layer of damage beyond the physical strike. Level 6. Chidori Senbon. Chidori Senbon is a ranged adaptation of Sasuke's lightning arsenal. It involves compressing and dividing Chidori's lightning chakra into numerous Senbon-shaped projectiles. These electrically charged needles are small but fast, designed to paralyze and disable rather than destroy. This variant shifts the focus from power to precision and volume. To perform the technique, Sasuke molds his chakra into thin, sharp points and fires them in controlled bursts. The Senbon maintain the elemental properties of lightning, allowing them to travel quickly through the air and pierce targets with minimal resistance. In addition to their impact damage, the needles deliver electrical shock, which can disrupt the opponent's nervous system or restrict their movement temporarily. Chidori Senbon is best used against agile, flying, or evasive targets that are difficult to reach with conventional attacks. The wide spread and speed of the Senbon make it difficult to dodge completely, even if the opponent avoids a portion of the volley. The paralysis effect gives Sasuke an opening to follow up with a stronger technique, or close the distance. Creating and maintaining the shape of multiple Senbon requires high chakra control, making it chakra intensive. The damage per needle is low, and without precise targeting, the attack may not achieve meaningful impact. It is more effective as a suppression tool than a finishing move. In his battle with Deidara, Sasuke used Chidori Senbon to eliminate airborne threats. The lightning needles neutralized Deidara's explosive spiders mid-air, proving their effectiveness in fast-paced, multi-angle combat. This allowed Sasuke to maintain control over a complex engagement without committing to a direct strike. Level 7. Chidori Sharp Spear. Chidori Sharp Spear is Sasuke's long-range application of lightning-style chakra, developed as part of his expanding combat style after the time skip. Unlike other Chidori variants, this technique avoids close contact altogether. It stretches lightning chakra into a spear-like extension that can reach up to 10 meters, giving Sasuke the ability to strike targets from a safe distance. To perform this technique, Sasuke shapes his lightning chakra into a linear form that maintains its piercing nature over long range. The spear can extend quickly and is capable of sudden directional adjustments or branching mid-attack, which makes it difficult for targets to evade. Because of the spear's nature, it can pierce through multiple enemies in a straight line or bypass cover. One of the key strengths of Sharp Spear is that it removes the need to approach the target. This gives Sasuke an advantage against opponents who rely on short-range counters or trap-based defense. It also works well against enemies hiding behind barriers or obstacles, especially when time is limited. The precision and reach make it a valuable part of his mid to long-range arsenal. Maintaining the form and stability of the spear over a long distance requires continuous chakra flow and control. In extended battles, this may reduce Sasuke's efficiency if overused. Sasuke utilized Chidori Sharp Spear during his battle with Itachi. While Itachi's defenses were layered and well prepared, the spear's range and ability to bypass obstacles forced him to stay on alert. It demonstrated that lightning-style attacks could pressure even highly defensive opponents without requiring direct contact. Level 8. Lightning Beast Tracking Fang. Lightning Beast Tracking Fang represents Kakashi's continued innovation with lightning chakra. Unlike most Chidori variants that rely on speed or direct piercing, this technique transforms lightning into animated wolf-like constructs. These beasts can act independently after being created, pursuing targets based on the user's intent. Mechanically, the jutsu requires molding lightning chakra into solid, mobile forms. Once released, the lightning wolves track the opponent's chakra signature and move autonomously across the battlefield. They can adjust course mid-pursuit, making them more difficult to escape than standard projectiles. This feature adds pressure by forcing the enemy to remain on the defensive. The wolves are effective against high-speed opponents or enemies who rely on evasion rather than defense. Since they act as mobile extensions of Kakashi's chakra, he can remain at a distance while still applying consistent offensive pressure. The technique also performs well regardless of environmental conditions, unlike Kieran or storm-based jutsu. However, Lightning Beast Tracking Fang is not designed for overwhelming damage. The wolves are primarily used for harassment, disruption, and creating openings. Their power is sufficient to injure or destabilize targets, but not necessarily to end fights directly. Kakashi used this technique during his confrontation with Pain's Paths. The wolves were effective in interfering with coordinated attacks, disrupting the rhythm of the battle, and splitting enemy focus. This allowed Kakashi to create gaps in the enemy's formation and reposition himself strategically. Level 9. Lightning Transmission. Lightning Transmission is a multi-target Reichery technique developed by Kakashi to address combat scenarios involving numerous opponents. This variation uses a combination of physical coordination and chakra manipulation to increase the effectiveness of Reichery beyond single-target engagements. The technique begins with Kakashi and a shadow clone simultaneously activating Reichery in each hand. They then connect the two techniques with a lightning rope, forming a charged conduit between them. This line of chakra functions as both a cutting wire and an energy trap. Enemies caught in the space between the two users can be shocked, restrained, or directly attacked, depending on how the technique is applied. Lightning transmission is most effective when opponents are positioned close to each other. It excels at piercing through strong defenses, such as chakra arms or reinforced barriers. By attacking from multiple angles and linking the power sources, Kakashi can overwhelm targets that would otherwise resist a single direction strike. Maintaining the Reichery in two locations while keeping the lightning rope stable requires constant chakra output and precision control. Additionally, if enemies are spread out or moving unpredictably, it becomes harder to position the technique effectively. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Kakashi used lightning transmission to great effect against the tailed beast's chakra constructs. The technique broke through their defenses and forced them to divide their attention. It proved valuable in chaotic, large-scale combat, where controlling multiple enemies was more important than finishing a single target. Level 10. Kieran. Kieran stands as Sasuke's most destructive lightning-style jutsu. Unlike other Chidori-based techniques, Kieran does not rely solely on chakra-generated electricity. Instead, it utilizes real lightning drawn from the atmosphere, controlled and redirected through Sasuke's chakra manipulation. This jutsu marks the transition from user-generated energy to environmental domination. The technique begins with the creation of storm clouds. Since natural conditions may not always provide them, Sasuke initiates the process using a high-temperature fire-release jutsu, which heats the surrounding air and forces moisture to rise, triggering condensation and thundercloud formation. Once lightning builds in the clouds, Sasuke synchronizes his chakra with the natural current and guides it downward. He shapes the bolt into a dragon form, symbolizing both control and precision. Kieran's strength is rooted in the nature of real lightning. This jutsu travels at the speed of actual lightning, far faster than most shinobi can react to. It delivers immense thermal and kinetic energy in an instant, capable of destroying fortified structures and altering terrain. It's highly effective as a one-time finishing technique when the conditions are prepared. Without storm clouds, the technique cannot be executed. Once the lightning is released, it cannot be repeated without restarting the entire preparation cycle. This makes it less practical for spontaneous combat, but extremely valuable in premeditated engagements. Sasuke used Kieran during his battle against Itachi, calling down the strike to obliterate the Uchiha hideout. The blast devastated the structure and left little time for counteraction. While Itachi survived using defensive techniques, the raw destructive power of Kieran was fully demonstrated. Level 11. Susanu Chidori. Susanu Chidori merges the piercing force of Chidori with the massive scale of the Susanu avatar. This technique becomes available to Sasuke after he gains full-body Susanu access, enabling him to combine his signature lightning jutsu with his most powerful defensive form. In execution, Sasuke channels Chidori into the arm of his Susanu. The technique scales up with the avatar, forming a colossal spear of lightning capable of leveling large targets. Sometimes, the Chidori is fused with Amaterasu flames, increasing its damage over time and adding a burning effect to the impact. Because the Susanu can fly, the Chidori can be deployed in aerial attacks, adding a new dimension to its use. The size of the Susanu protects Sasuke while charging, removing the original Chidori's vulnerability to counterattacks. It also grants access to long-range movement, aerial positioning, and high-impact striking force, useful against both mobile targets and large chakra-based entities. Maintaining Susanu while executing a high-level Chidori puts a heavy strain on Sasuke's body. Overuse can lead to chakra exhaustion or structural instability in the Susanu form itself. Additionally, the larger scale makes it harder to use in confined spaces. During Sasuke's battle against Naruto, he used Susanu Chidori against Kurama's full chakra cloak. The resulting clash shook the battlefield, proving that this variant could match tailed beast-level power head-on. The technique delivered both scale and precision in one attack. Level 12, Kamui Reichery. Kamui Reichery is the ultimate fusion of two elite techniques, Kakashi's Reichery and Obito's Kamui. This combination was only possible after Kakashi temporarily gained access to both of Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan during the final battle against Kaguya Otsutsuki. The result is a technique that defies both space and defense. To perform Kamui Reichery, Kakashi charges Reichery in his hand and simultaneously applies Kamui's spatial warping effect. This gives the attack two properties: physical piercing through traditional means, and phasing through dimensions to bypass even the most impenetrable defenses. The lightning is wrapped in Kamui's dark aura, visually distinct and functionally unpredictable. The strength of this technique lies in its ability to affect targets across dimensional boundaries. Because Kamui allows teleportation and partial materialization, Kamui Reichery can strike a target through space without resistance. Its speed, enhanced by Kamui's teleportation, makes evasion nearly impossible for any opponent, even those at God-tier level. Kamui Reichery can only be used when Kakashi has access to both Mangekyo eyes and enough chakra to sustain the dimensional rift. It cannot be replicated under normal circumstances, and the complexity of the technique prevents widespread use. This was a one-time technique made possible by exceptional events. Kakashi used Kamui Reichery during the final confrontation with Kaguya. It pierced her defenses and disrupted her dimensional abilities, making it one of the few attacks that effectively countered her power. The move turned the tide in a battle against an otherwise untouchable enemy. Level 13, Purple Electricity. Purple Electricity is Kakashi's new lightning technique developed after losing his Sharingan. Without the enhanced perception of his eye, he could no longer safely perform Chidori or Reichery. In response, he created a technique that maintains the versatility of lightning release while removing its visual dependency. Unlike Chidori, Purple Electricity can be shaped and released without high-speed movement. It can be used as a projectile, an area of effect burst, or a localized precision strike. The chakra is adjusted in density and output, allowing Kakashi to scale the power depending on the situation. This makes it usable in both assassination missions and high-risk environments. The technique's strength is flexibility. In Kakashi Haiden, he used it to disarm an enemy's explosive vest with precise chakra control, avoiding any collateral damage. In another instance, he released a massive surge of purple electricity that triggered rainfall, showing its environmental influence. It functions in all ranges and doesn't require advanced visual prediction. However, purple electricity has limitations in chakra usage. While less dangerous than Chidori, it still consumes considerable energy during large-scale applications. It also lacks the raw piercing strength of Reichery, making it less effective against hardened targets unless fully charged. Level 1, Subtle Suggestion, Breaking the Senses. Let's start with the very first and lightest level of Genjutsu. Level 1 is all about disruption. It's like a whisper in the dark, or a quick flash in the corner of your vision, just enough to throw you off balance, just enough to make you second-guess what's real. This isn't about big flashy illusions yet. It's more like a sharp little jab at your peace of mind. Look at the iconic battle between Kakashi and Zabuza. Using his Sharingan, Kakashi cast a very simple genjutsu that made Zabuza believe Kakashi could see the future. For a second, Zabuza thought Kakashi had launched the water dragon bullet before he did. That wasn't some complex magic. It was a clean, subtle strike to mess with Zabuza's head. Or remember when Sasuke first met Sai? One intense stare, just one, and Sai dropped to the ground without anyone even touching him. That's the power of basic genjutsu. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be strong enough to shake the opponent's confidence. These techniques quietly target your subconscious. They suggest a world that feels slightly off. They feed on uncertainty, which is especially easy to trigger when two opponents don't know each other well yet. It's that weird, uncomfortable feeling, like you know something's wrong, but you just can't tell what it is. And that's the danger. Even a tiny crack in your awareness can totally lead to a mental domino effect. If you can make your enemy hesitate first, even just for a second, you gain the upper hand. Level 1. Genjutsu may seem simple, but that's exactly what makes it powerful. Still, this level mostly works on opponents who are weaker than you or around your level. It's too soft to use against someone way stronger, because strong opponents tend to be very confident, and confident people are way harder to scare. Level 2. Calculated distraction, manipulating the environment and basic senses. Now we move into Level 2, the point where Genjutsu really starts to show its power. This is where it evolves from just disrupting your focus into carefully calculated distraction. At this level, illusions become more visible, more real, but still stay within what your brain can accept as expected. There are quite a few techniques at this stage. Take demonic illusion, false surroundings technique for example. This genjutsu casts a visual illusion over a whole area, making it look like a completely different place. It's super effective. Anyone who enters the area gets caught in the illusion and sees a fake environment. Totally confusing. Then there's the sly mind affect technique. This one makes you think you're walking in a straight line, when in reality, you're just walking in circles. Like literally, just going round and round. And most of the time, the victims don't even realize it. Team 7 only figured it out after seeing the same dead centipede Naruto had killed hours ago. That's classic genjutsu, messing with your senses just enough to waste your time and energy. And now, let's talk about the Mist Servant technique, a genjutsu that many ninjas totally underestimate until it's too late. This jutsu creates creepy, ghost-like shadow figures from the surrounding environment. They move slowly toward the target, provoking them to attack. But here's the scary part. Every time you hit one, your attack just passes through like it's air. And then, instead of disappearing, the shadow doubles. This is pure psychological warfare. Even when your brain knows it's not real, your survival instinct still tells you to keep fighting. Each useless attack drains your stamina, burns your focus, and makes you panic just a little more. Meanwhile, the real ninja is hiding nearby, patiently waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Imagine fighting an enemy you can't touch, but your mind believes they're a real threat. It creates this totally helpless and disoriented feeling. Weak-willed people might completely freak out, but strong fighters will pause, adapt, and look for the trick behind the illusion. Level 2. Genjutsu is all about distraction and erosion. It doesn't try to crush you right away, it slowly wears you down. Like a lone wolf in the shadows, it's quiet, strategic, and always waiting for the right moment to pounce. Kinda ninja-like thing, isn't it? Level 3. Personal Lockdown Genjutsu. Now we're diving into the real core of genjutsu, techniques that don't just distract you, they trap you. They shut you down. Let's look at the moment when Kurenai faced off against Itachi. Kurenai, a jonin who actually specializes in genjutsu, confidently used the tree-binding death technique to hold Itachi in place. To be fair, this genjutsu can be super effective in one-on-one fights, for interrogation, or even for surprise attacks. For a moment, massive tree branches wrapped around Itachi, locking him down. The only problem was that she used it on Itachi, a literal genjutsu god. So of course, it didn't work, and he reversed it on her without even blinking. But nothing shows this level better than the time Itachi faced Orochimaru. With just one look, Itachi completely froze Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin, in place. Orochimaru felt like huge heavy stakes were pinning his body to the ground. He literally couldn't move. It was total suppression, like his entire soul had been frozen in time. And when he did try to break free, Itachi calmly walked over and took one of his arms. At this point, Genjutsu isn't just messing with your senses. It's becoming direct combat. It's used to control, not just confuse. Escaping this level of Genjutsu? That takes serious skill and serious mental strength. Only powerful ninjas with strong minds can push through it. Level 3. Genjutsu is all about full lockdown. It doesn't waste time. It hits fast, hard, and leaves no room to breathe. Level 4. Emotional manipulation, spreading fear and despair. Now we've stepped into the most dangerous territory of Genjutsu, where illusion becomes a brutal psychological weapon. This level doesn't just trick your senses, it breaks your mind and crushes your heart. At this stage, Genjutsu masters don't fight you with power. They make you fall apart from the inside. One early example is when Kakashi used the demonic illusion, hell viewing technique on Sakura. Kakashi knew she cared deeply about Sasuke, so he showed her a vivid illusion of Sasuke dying right in front of her. That fear, pulled from the deepest part of her soul, was pushed to the extreme. It was too much. She passed out instantly. A bit more subtle, but even more painful, was when Itachi used ephemeral on Naruto. Under the Genjutsu, Naruto saw the people he loved the most appear all over his body, yelling at him, blaming him, shaming him. It tore him apart from the inside. The guilt hit so hard, he even started attacking himself. No one touched them. No one laid a hand on them. But they still felt attacked. They felt abandoned, helpless, and completely overwhelmed by emotions they couldn't control. That's the terrifying beauty of Level 4 Genjutsu. It doesn't break your body. It makes you break yourself. Level 5. Creating a perfect illusionary world. Level 4 was already terrifying, but even then, you could still break free with enough willpower or with help from your teammates. But with Itachi's Tsukuyomi, there's no escape. This Genjutsu deserves its own level. When Itachi used Tsukuyomi on Kakashi and Sasuke, what we saw was more than just an illusion. It was a fully crafted masterpiece of mental torture. Inside Tsukuyomi, Itachi becomes a god. He can control everything, even time itself. A few real-world seconds stretch into days of intense, personal suffering. Kakashi experienced hour after hour of pain, stabbed endlessly by long blades, all inside his mind. He didn't just see the pain, he felt every second of it. His body couldn't move, but his mind was trapped in an infinite loop of agony. For Sasuke, it was even worse. He had to watch the massacre of his entire clan, again and again, hundreds of thousands of times. But Itachi didn't stop at visuals. Sasuke could smell the blood, hear the final breaths, and feel the cold presence of death. He lived every moment in brutal detail. That's the terrifying strength of Tsukuyomi. It doesn't just show you horror, it forces you to live it. At this point, Genjutsu becomes a complete world of its own, fully ruled by the caster. The victim doesn't just see illusions, they fully experience them, like it's part of their real life. When Kakashi and Sasuke finally escaped the illusion, they weren't just physically drained. They were deeply damaged, mentally and emotionally. And there's no counter Genjutsu for Tsukuyomi. There's no way to break it mid-cast. The only option is rest, recovery, and healing from the trauma it leaves behind. In fact, the only known person who could even ease the pain caused by Tsukuyomi was Tsunade. Level 6. Mind Control. Rewriting personal history. This is where Genjutsu stops targeting what you see or feel, and starts invading your memories and your will. At this level, the illusion doesn't just fool you, it redefines you. It's terrifying, because once your entire consciousness is rewritten, even the question, "Who are you?" becomes impossible to answer. Kotoa Matsukami, used by Sasuke Uchiha, is the absolute peak of dark psychological warfare. It doesn't force anyone to do something. Instead, it plants an idea so deeply inside their mind that they genuinely believe it's their own. They act with full intention and complete sincerity, as if this new goal was always their deepest motivation. Most Genjutsu makes the victim resist, at least a little, but not this one. The target doesn't even know they've been manipulated. There's nothing to fight against, because from their point of view, everything feels real. This Genjutsu has only been used twice, and honestly, its control was stronger than even perfect Edo Tensei. Of course, Kotoa Matsukami isn't the only mind control technique used by the Uchiha. Some are less refined, but still dangerously effective. When Obito used Genjutsu to manipulate the fourth Mizukage, we saw what happens when someone's history is completely rewritten. Yagura, once a kind and capable leader, became a cruel dictator. The Hidden Mist entered a bloody era, ruled by fear and death. During that time, Yagura was just a hollow puppet, carrying the blame for everything Obito did behind the scenes. Another chilling example, when Obito and Madara used Genjutsu to control the Nine Tails during the attack on Konoha. Some people say this was more like direct control than illusion, but that's not entirely true. Kurama is a living, thinking being with his own will. And yet, under this Genjutsu, he became a full puppet, acting completely against his instincts. His identity and intentions were overridden. You can even see it in his eyes. When controlled, they change to the Sharingan pattern. Only when the Genjutsu is broken do his eyes return to normal. This level of Genjutsu defines the victim using false memories and fake beliefs, and the worst part is, they never realize it. It's tragic, and honestly, it explains why someone like Kasame would rather die for a world built on truth, no matter how painful that truth is, and for that, he's deeply respected. Level 7. Reality Sync, turning illusion into reality. This is where the line between illusion and reality completely disappears. We're talking about reality synchronization, the ability to turn illusions into reality, and reality into illusion. Yeah, this is Izanagi. Izanagi is a forbidden technique used only by those with the Sharingan. At this point, it's no longer Genjutsu in the traditional sense. Izanagi actually rewrites reality itself. When Danzo used it, his death became an illusion, and his survival became the truth. Just imagine, for one moment, you die. But because of Izanagi, that death becomes nothing more than a bad dream. You wake up, you're alive, you're fine. The only cost is that you permanently lose the Sharingan you just used. But that cost isn't small, because the Sharingan is the very source of so many powerful illusions, including all the Genjutsu levels we've discussed before. That's why even Madara, who lived for centuries and knew every jutsu under the sun, only used Izanagi when absolutely necessary. The price makes Izanagi a desperate last resort weapon, a final gamble to stay alive. And from that power, we got some of the most insane plot twists. Danzo's fake-out death, Obito's comeback during his fight with Konan Madara's resurrection in full prime overpowered? Definitely. Even the legendary jutsu genius Tobirama got played by this technique. But whenever we talk about Izanagi, we have to talk about Izanami too. Izanami was created specifically to punish those who abused Izanagi. If Izanagi lets you rewrite fate, then Izanami traps you in a loop of fate. Kabuto experienced it firsthand. He was caught in an endless time loop, forced to face himself over and over again. Izanami doesn't kill you, it makes you live with the truth of who you are. That truth, for many, is harder to face than death. Technically, Izanami is just a one-target controlled genjutsu, but it's so unique that no outsider can break it. And the twist? There is a way out, but the exit is inside the illusion, and only the victim can find it. That's why this level is only for those who are truly alone in their power. Like the Uchiha clan, shinobi who carry strength that scales with their suffering. Their power always matched their will. And that's the tragic beauty of these legendary warriors, the descendants of Indra. Level 8. Wide Area Illusion. This is the level for those who can fight the world alone. Level 8 is when a ninja becomes a true overlord of the battlefield. It's no longer just one-on-one. Now, you turn the entire combat zone into your personal stage. One flute tune, one chant, one wave of darkness, and the whole world becomes yours. Let's start with Tayuya from the Sound 4. All she needed was her cursed flute. With her demonic flute phantom sound chains, she trapped Shikamaru in a disturbing illusion. He couldn't move, couldn't think clearly, his body froze, and his mind spiraled into chaos. Now imagine if there were 10 Shikamarus, or 100. They'd all fall just the same. She only lost because Tamari showed up, and, well, wind kinda hard counters sound. Then we have the two elder toads, Fukasaku and Shima. Their frog song is an ancient sage art, a duet that channels nature energy into a genjutsu so powerful, it can paralyze any opponent. Their synchronized voices send chakra straight into the enemy's brain, short-circuiting their senses. Breaking free? Almost impossible without high-tier abilities. Kabuto, meanwhile, was more elegant. During the Chunin exams, he used Temple of Nirvana technique to put an entire stadium to sleep. All it took was a rain of illusory feathers, soft, silent, and terrifyingly effective. Only elite shinobi like Kakashi and Guy could resist. That's a large-scale genjutsu, refined, efficient, and it's an A-rank jutsu, no joke. And then there's Hashirama, the first Hokage. His Bringer of Darkness technique blanketed entire areas in pure darkness. It blinded everyone inside, making them panic, disoriented, and vulnerable. And guess who his opponent was? Uchiha Madara, wielder of some of the most broken dojutsu in history. This jutsu completely neutralized visual powers like Sharingan and Rinnegan and Byakugan. Now, the anime gave this jutsu to Tobirama instead, probably to boost his image as the ultimate Uchiha slayer. But in the manga, it's 100% Hashirama's technique. Also, Hashirama could enter Sage Mode, so he had no trouble fighting in complete darkness. That's what makes him so insanely dangerous at this level. Level 8 isn't about finesse anymore. It's about turning entire armies into playthings. It's the power to control crowds, collapse formations, and dominate the battlefield. In this world, you're not just a shinobi, you're the director, and everyone else is just part of your illusion. Level 9, Infinite Tsukuyomi, the final dream. We've now reached the ultimate level of genjutsu, Infinite Tsukuyomi. At this point, it's no longer just a technique. It's a full-scale reconstruction of reality. Once it's activated, the entire shinobi world is swallowed into an eternal dream. This is the most powerful genjutsu ever created, not because of how it attacks one mind, but because it targets all of humanity. Everyone is trapped inside their own personal illusion, a perfect dream where every wish comes true. Shino discovers new insects. Asuma is still alive, guiding Team 10. The people they lost all return. It sounds peaceful, but that's exactly what makes it so terrifying. Even Itachi's Tsukuyomi, when used on Izumi, only showed her a beautiful life that he imagined. Infinite Tsukuyomi is far more dangerous. It reaches into the deepest desires of each victim and builds a custom-made world around them. Each person ends up isolated, locked inside a dream of their own making. No pain, no effort, no need to grow, just comfort. And the scariest part, you may choose to be locked inside, Madara truly believed this was his final gift to mankind. He thought he was saving the world from war, grief, and loss. And honestly, it really makes sense. That's what makes him one of the greatest villains in shonen history. But real strength doesn't come from hiding. It comes from facing pain, choosing reality, and continuing to fight anyway. Choose the real world and live, even if it hurts. Because that's what it means to be a warrior. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.